Hey, what's up everyone? Johnny the Geek here, and today I'm going to be repairing and speeding up and optimizing this HP desktop PC. And so this particular system is running Windows Vista, not exactly the best operating system from Microsoft, but it can run very well if we clean things up here and get rid of a lot of junk that's on the system. Now, most cases, I usually like to just say, you know what? Let's back everything up and let's wipe it all out and let's throw Windows 7 on there. Chances are, most likely, if it can run Vista, it can run Windows 7. It's a much cleaner operating system. But unfortunately, the person that I'm doing this for doesn't want anything to change necessarily, and so all we're going to do today is that we're just going to optimize everything, and I'm going to be showing you what it is that I usually go through to clean things up and get rid of things and scan and run things to get this running to a respectable or bearable speed and performance. And so I started up this machine, and it's been taking about a good 10 minutes for it to start, and it just finished loading a bunch of stuff on here. As you can see already, this desktop is a mess, and there's a lot of stuff going on here. And usually the first thing I usually like to do before I start uninstalling or running things or try to figure out what errors it's having, if any, is that I like to turn off everything that starts up with the computer, right? So down at the bottom right here, this task manager, all these programs here, all this sidebar, these widgets kind of slow things down quite a bit. This dock right up here, this HP dock, is really slowing things down. So I want to just stop that from starting up and just disable everything that I can, as much as I can. And to do that, we go to the start button here on the bottom left, and then in the start search we type in msconfig, right? And first program that comes up there, you can just press enter if you want, or you can click on it, and it's going to ask a security measure, do you want to start this program? And then we'll go to the startup program here, and the tabs up in here, right? We'll just leave all of this alone, and we'll say the startup tab. These are all the programs that start up with your Microsoft Windows machine, and we're going to disable it all, right? There's some stuff here that you do want to have, but we're just going to disable it all just for the purpose of diagnosing what some of the problems might have. Like, for example, we do want, at the end of everything, we want the NVIDIA drivers to load up, as well as some other programs to load up. But for now, we're going to disable everything, and this is pretty much what you would normally go through to try to figure out what might be going wrong with your computer if you're having errors. And you would just disable everything and only select your absolute necessities, like the NVIDIA drivers and possibly your antivirus program. And I believe on here they are using Norton, which isn't a bad program now, and we'll probably have to continue using Norton because they paid for it, so we gotta use it. I would probably rather use the Microsoft Security Essentials, which is free, and I don't see the Norton programs here, but that's okay. We'll get to it later. And so I'm just going to click on apply, click on OK. This asks you need to restart your computer to make all these settings happen, and we'll go ahead and restart. Now, it's not going to be blazing fast when we restart everything, alright? It is going to be a little bit faster, but at least you won't have a bunch of programs that'll keep you from uninstalling things or slowing things down and just making your diagnosis or repair process or optimization process ridiculously slow. So a few other things that we're going to be doing to this system is updating the operating system using Windows Update. So right now I don't have it connected to the internet, just so that programs that require the internet aren't going to be running in the background. So we'll just wait for this to boot up. Now again, like I said, this particular system took probably about 10 minutes to start up, and it was churning away even as we were making this video. So let's just see how long now it takes. It's probably been about 1 minute so far. Alright, so we're started up here and the start button starts up. It's a good indication that we're finished loading, and that took a total of about a minute, maybe a minute and a half to 2 minutes, which was a lot better than 10 minutes of starting. And so as you can see here, this desktop full of icons, running icons on your desktop like this does take up resources. So for now, just for the diagnosing process, or our whole thing that we're doing right now, I'm going to create a new folder. So I just right click, new folder, and call it desktop icons. Right? You don't necessarily have to do this. This doesn't really do anything, but it does run a little bit faster when you don't have so many icons, because the computer does have to process each and every one of those icons, and it takes up resources. So I'm just gonna shrink it all down now to just one icon. Even though you have all those icons on the desktop here, once you put it into that one icon, it's really turning it into just one icon until you double click on it and open it all up again. Alright, so we got the desktop all cleaned up now, and so as you can see here, I'm still disconnected from the internet because I don't want anything downloading or installing or updating, running any processes in the background while we're trying to do this. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to uninstall some programs. So for that, we need to go to the control panel. But if you don't have the control panel, you can always just go to the start menu program and type in control panel. And you should see the first option that comes up here is control panel, and you can go ahead and click on that. That's just if you don't have that button there. And so what we're going to do is we're going to uninstall a program. If by some chance it's in classic view like it is here, then you're going to have to look for programs and settings, or programs and features, right? Or you could just, in the regular view, go to programs here and uninstall programs. So let's go this other way, because it's most likely, a lot of times you'll have it set that way. Alright, and so these are all the programs that are installed in your computer right now. Now yours is going to have a lot of different things on there, but I'll try to give you an idea as to what you want to have and don't have. You don't want to have stuff that says like app bar or anything that you're not familiar with. Things that you don't use. Like this person, I know they use Adobe products on here because they're a web designer. So I'm going to just leave all the Adobe related stuff, and I'll uninstall these app bars or toolbars. So there's also, and you got to be careful with this. Sometimes these programs try to trick you in saying, what programs do you want to leave on here? And you're thinking, oh, I'm checking these programs because these are programs I want to get off of here. But it'll say in the questions, what programs do you want to leave on there? And then you're clicking on it and you're just going to leave it on there. It's not even uninstalling. Or it's going to ask you, hey, do you want to install more stuff? And you're clicking on it thinking that you want to remove this stuff, but you're actually adding more. So if you select these two, this will remove the home page. Okay, that's what we want, right? And we will select close, so that's gone. And we want to get rid of the ask toolbars, right? And if you get a pop-up here, you're going to want to click on allow, so that it will allow this uninstalled program to run. So what that pop-up was is just saying that there's a program that's trying to run, because we have the UAC setting on here, and I'll show you what UAC is in a bit. But essentially, an uninstaller is a program. Moving on to the next uninstall. Alright, so apparently I can't uninstall this Ask Toolbar Updater because I don't have sufficient rights. We'll get back to that. Hopefully the last program we uninstalled will fix this after a restart. So we're going to leave this stuff here. Bonjour, that's for the Apple programs. And you can see here on the publisher side, typically it's somewhat trustworthy if they have identifiable publisher ID. And so like this one right here, Coffee Cup Web Form Builder, I'm going to go ahead and uninstall that. Even though this person is a web designer, this most likely has things to do with web design, but it doesn't have an icon that's from a web publisher, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Same thing with this, it doesn't even have an icon on there, so I'm just going to go ahead and okay, so I can't even uninstall this either. And it's going to go ahead and remove it from our programs list. That's cool. There's going to be another program that I'm going to be running that's going to scan through a lot of this stuff to clean things up a bit as well. And so all of this stuff, this FFD show that has to do with video codecs, so we'll leave that. This Fun Moods though, web search, most likely we want to get rid of. Click on install. Okay. That's it for that. And already we've gotten a bunch of these errors. Look at all of these toolbars on here. Man, this is terrible. So the program was just trying to start a web browser, and we're not connected to the internet. This hardware diagnostics tool from PC Doctor, we're going to go ahead and uninstall that because we really just want only one program to manage all of our antivirus and all of that safety, security program software, just managed by one program, not by a whole bunch of them. So we'll just go ahead and uninstall that. Alright, and then for the most part we can leave FileZilla, they use that. Google Chrome, that's good. Handbrake, that's for video encoding. This device driver, that is, even though it doesn't have any publisher or anything like that, most likely it's for a device that they have installed. So we're going to leave that. All this HP stuff, I mean, you could delete it if you want, it's just going to save you some space. But we're going to leave that. Intel Matrix Storage Manager, that has to do with storage drivers. And iTunes, we'll leave all this. Java, that's really needed for running programs. Juniper Networks, that's also for internal networking type of stuff. Label Print, Light Scribe, this stuff came with the computer itself. Microsoft or McAfee Security Scan, we'll go ahead and uninstall that because again, this already has Norton. We don't need 2 or 3 different programs trying to compete with each other. We'll take off the Microsoft Live Search toolbar. Alright, all this Microsoft stuff, C++, Visual, we'll leave that. Programs require that to work. And then we will actually remove one of these versions of Firefox because the person was telling me that they were having problems with Firefox, and since we're going to be reinstalling Firefox, we'll go ahead and uninstall the old Firefox. Alright, and then we're going to go to NetZero Preloader. We're going to go ahead and uninstall that. We don't need that program. Alright, moving down to the PC cleaners. That was a program that was coming up at the start of the computer giving us errors. This is most likely some bloatware. And it's trying to start the internet here because it wants to try to convince you not to uninstall it, but we're gonna uninstall it anyways. PC Optimizer Pro, again, we don't want so many programs competing against each other. It's asking that it needs to shut down. Starting up a web page again, trying to redirect you. Alright, we're making great progress here. We're going to pretty much leave all these programs, but we're going to remove registry mechanic. It's more bloatware. Right, and we'll leave these programs here, even though I really don't trust this these programs here, but it looks like this person uses them. So then we'll go ahead and we'll also remove some games that aren't played, like trial versions of games, just to free up some space. Then the start now, more toolbars we want to get rid of. Alright, this program here, wow slider, that just doesn't even work. Alright, so now that we got everything uninstalled, all the programs, the major programs that have been causing some problems, we've got it all installed now. We're going to give it a restart, then we're going to update our system. Alright, so now we are ready to update our system. We're connected to the internet now, and everything's all good and connected. So we're going to go ahead and go to all programs. Then we're going to look for Windows Update. Again, you could always just type in Windows Update, and it'll be the first option that pops up there, most likely. And once you start this up, it's going to say updates, optional updates are available. Actually, most of this system looks like to be pretty much updated. You can click on check for updates. Looks like there isn't a whole lot to do with the software or the operating system itself, which is a good sign. This person kept their machine up to date, which is great. Looks like that there was some hardware updates that you could do. I'm not going to do that right now. I'm probably going to do that later. It's just going to take up too much time. And so if there isn't any updates, great. We can go ahead and run our program called, one of my favorite programs, called Ninite, and that's NINITE.com. One of my favorite websites for downloading and installing automated programs here. And even though some of these programs are already on this machine, you can click on them and install them again, because what it'll do is that it'll remove the old program and install the new program, or the latest updated program, if you already have it. And so I'm going to go ahead and go through and just select here what programs we want to install. And I know that they use Skype, and we'll just go ahead and do our media programs, iTunes VLC, the K-Lite codecs, and the CCCP QuickTime, and that's pretty much it that they use there. Go ahead and install all of the runtimes, because they're going to need that for the web. And everything else we can leave. We'll just leave Adobe Reader. We'll go ahead and install malware bytes, and we can do Dropbox, because I know they use that. Then we'll do TerraCopy. That's a great program for copying things. We can do CD Burner XP, Oslogics, and Glare Utilities. That's a really great program. 7-Zip, even though it's already on there, I'm going to be updating it. FileZilla, I know they use that. And then we'll just go ahead and click on download, and it downloads this little program here. So then we're going to go ahead and just run it. Let's take a look at our updates here, and Again, yeah, the updates that's only really required looks to be the hardware. Again, we'll come back to that later. We'll go ahead and run our file. And so we're going to let this program run. It's going to download all the necessary software and install it for us automatically. This is why I like this program. It knows what version Windows you have. It knows that I'm on Windows Vista, so it downloads the Windows Vista. It knows that it's the 64-bit version of Windows Vista, so it downloads all the 64-bit if there is a 64-bit application for it. It doesn't install the bloatware or extra software that a lot of these free programs will come with. A lot of the programs will say, you know, it's free, so it'll also install a toolbar or something like that. And this will skip all that. This program will bypass installing toolbars and extra bloatware, so it's a really great program. And just because you have the software installed, as you can see here, Chrome, it skipped it because it's already got it. Flash, it skipped it because it already has it. So it just goes over and skips the things that you don't need, right? So let's check out where it's at now. And so depending on how fast your internet connection is, this is going to take some time, so we'll come back when this is done, and we're going to run the scanning tools, and we're going to scan for viruses and clean up registries and stuff like that. Alright, so now we're ready to start scanning our computers with our programs here, and we're going to first start off with a program called Glary Utilities. So once we start this up, we're just going to go ahead and leave everything checked, but we're also going to check the tracks eraser. Then we're going to go to options and select the tracks we want to erase. And by default, these are normally unchecked, but we want to actually check all of them, right? So this is great because this will clean up some of the excess files that's saved onto our computer here that just slows everything down. And so we'll click on OK. Then we'll click on Scan for Issues, and it's just going to go ahead and scan through your entire computers and find errors, and then once it's done, we're going to clean up everything. And now Glary Utility has finished scanning our computer. We're just going to click this simple button here that says Repair Problems, and it's going to go ahead and clean everything up and erase extra junk that just clutters up our system and makes everything run slow here. And once that finishes, we're then going to run Malwarebytes, a really good program here that most likely when we start this up, it's going to require some updating, and this is just usually a one-time deal. And so we'll fire this program up, and it says that the database is 20 days old. We want to update now. Sure, we'll update. Again, you'll have to be connected to the internet. Meanwhile, on the Glary Utilities here, it is finished, and Malwarebytes has finished updating, and we're going to go ahead and perform a full scan. Now this one is probably typical overnighter type deal, or something that you want to leave for many hours, a good part of the day. I'm only going to perform a quick scan, and we're just going to let this scan, and once it's finished, hopefully it'll find something so I can show you how to get rid of some of the errors. And so we'll come back when this is done. Alright, so now that Malwarebytes has finished running its scans, we're going to go ahead and click on OK. Then it found 27 objects, and what we're going to do is click on Show Results, and here are all the programs that it found, and we want to actually select all of them, and I don't know why there isn't a button. I guess we got to go through and select all of them. Because I trust that all of these programs are not good and I don't want them, right? And then we're going to go ahead and click on Remove Selected. Now it's working its magic. This may require a restart in order to fully remove everything, but after that we're going to run one last scan with a program called Oslogix, and this is a disk defragmenting tool. If you have a solid state drive in your computer, don't run this disk defragging tools. Don't run any type of disk defragging tools, just leave it alone. But this hard drive is a rotational spindle hard drive, so we're going to run this disk defrag program next. Now that Malwarebytes has finished removing all of the threats, it's saying you must click yes to restart now because it has to remove all the active threats properly. So it also provides you with a report here of what it removed, and so go ahead and close that. We'll click on yes to restart. Well, let us restart, and then we're going to run our final program, and that's going to wrap. Alright, so the final program we're going to run now is Oslogix, and we're going to uncheck the factory image here. Normally it might be checked automatically, but we're just going to do the C drive, and we're going to do the drop down menu here. We're going to do the defrag and optimize. It takes longer, but you just want to do this once in a while. Since this is the first time we're running this program, we're going to do the defrag and optimize, and so we're going to let this run. This is probably going to take a while, so that's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully it was helpful for you. Please comment thumbs up or thumbs down, whatever, all that stuff, and down in the comments below, let us know what type of programs you've seen that kind of bog down your system that you typically get rid of, any of those fake antivirus programs or anything like that, any tips or anything that you go through to update your system here, getting it running smooth and fast. Please let us know down in the comments, and that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys later.